A major new filing in one of the other criminal cases Donald Trump is facing, this one related to the federal classified documents investigation. And it includes notes from an FBI interview with a key witness, described as someone who worked in Trump's White House. One of the most shocking details? This witness, identified as person 16, says Trump's personal aide and co-defendant in the case, Walt Nauta, was told he would be pardoned if Trump won a second term. Now, a reminder, Nauta was charged last June with lying to the FBI and obstructing special counsel Jack Smith's investigation. Here's what the filing specifically says. Quote, Nauta was told by POTUS about people that his investigation was not going anywhere, that it was politically motivated and much ado about nothing. Nauta was also told that even if he gets charged with lying to the FBI, POTUS will pardon him in 2024. And that's not all. In one of the more bizarre details of the filing, this witness gave Trump a stark warning to hand over the documents to the National Archives. The filing says that in November of 2021, person 16 told the former president of the United States, whatever you have, give everything back. Let them come here and get everything. Don't give them a noble reason to indict you, because they will. Former POTUS provided a weird, you're the man type of response. It goes on to say that person 16 was given the impression that Trump was going to return the records, but the meeting was interrupted when a Mar-a-Lago club member and a much younger woman walked up to take a photo with Trump. I want to bring in CNN Senior Law Enforcement and former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe. So glad to have you on this evening. So listen, in addition to warning Trump face-to-face, this person 16 also says that they also asked Trump's children to convince him to give up the boxes, saying, quote, talk to your dad about giving them back. It's not worth the aggravation. Is this a value add to this case?
Well, it's an interesting episode, and it could kind of go in a bunch of different directions. I think first, this witness referred to as person 16, is somebody who clearly has frequent access or had frequent access to the former president, was a member of the administration, but also traveled to Mar-a-Lago on numerous occasions after Trump was no longer president. He's also, from these statements, somebody who was very, very clearly worried about the legal implications of the retention of these documents and tried to pass along suggestions about how to resolve this through the children and you know, in different ways. So all of that to me suggests, Laura, that this person is probably somebody with legal knowledge, probably a lawyer, somebody who served in a counsel position in the White House, but we don't know that for sure. The interesting thing about the Nauta reporting is we really don't know how person 16 heard about this alleged offer of a pardon in return for lying to the FBI. Did he learn that directly from Walt Nauta, or did he learn that from someone else who claimed to have heard it from Nauta, or maybe someone else who actually made those comments to Nauta? So that's the piece of the puzzle that we don't have. So it's hard to assess the impact that this witness would have without understanding that fact.
You know, this person apparently asked the FBI not to record their conversation, quote, saying having the interview recorded was a far bigger risk for him in the Trump world. So how do you think the FBI interpreted that statement?
Well, it's interesting. I know that they tried to convince him that not recording the interview would actually look worse for him because everybody else, all other witnesses' interviews were recorded. And of course, the person made that comment and said that he still didn't want to do it anyway. The question that I would have had as an investigator interviewing this witness was, boy, how likely is this person ever to actually testify in front of a grand jury or in front of a trial jury if they're not even willing to be recorded here in a private interview? So I think it does indicate, you know, they should have some concerns about whether or not this person, even though he did speak to them, and let's give him the benefit of the doubt that he spoke truthfully, he may not be willing to go all the way and testify in a proceeding.
But it would have had to have been under oath talking to them in the first place, right?
Well, you don't always put every witness under oath
Hmm.
during the course of a routine FBI interview. However, you let witnesses know that if they lie to the agents during the course of the interview, that can be charged as a federal crime. It's a via 18 USC 1001 is making a false statement to an investigator in the course of investigation can lead to a federal charge. So it's essentially, you let them know that there's a significant penalty that could be on their way if they make false statements. The thing that really blows my mind, though, about this whole episode, Laura, is if this actually happened, if some sort of an offer of a pardon was made to Walt Nauta in return for lying to the FBI in his own interview, which we know he did because we've read his transcript now, right? That came out about a week ago. We know that he lied to the interviewers in that interaction. That's something that could be charged as obstruction of justice. That's kind of the worst outcome. But even beyond that, it certainly indicates a strong degree of guilty knowledge, right? Innocent
Hmm.
people don't usually try to convince others to lie to the FBI about what they did. Innocent people say, sure, meet with the FBI, tell them the truth. There was nothing wrong here. We didn't do anything wrong. So it's really an interesting insight into what was going on potentially among the Trump camp.